and it's cold. Woo! Finally!
Woo! Good
finally.
morning, my neighbors!
He's always got to do that. I think my alarm's going off. That was what was supposed to wake me up this morning. Well, maybe that's why I didn't wake up, because it was set for an hour too late. So good morning to everybody. Once again, we're back. We will not comply. And geez, we leave for about, a week? We're off the air for about a week. And we have the governor of New York State asking people to be her vaccine apostle. It's pretty scary. But there's plenty to talk about, and it looks like Twitter's giving me problems again. So I'm going to have to figure this out, because we are once again not live on Twitter for whatever reason. I can't explain why this is happening on Twitter. But Restream, I think, is going to have to get canceled because it's just not working. Well, we're on Facebook and we're on YouTube, so head over there. I'm going to try and fiddle around with this Twitter and try and get this to work. But no guarantees. I would love to get this up, but it doesn't look like much is happening on the Twitter front. But we're back. We've got plenty to talk about. Driving in, I saw a lot of Ray Tierney signs, and it's getting time to hit the ground for Ray. It's getting time to hit the ground for guys like Dom and Vicky over in District 19. It's just, we're getting close. We're getting to that time, and it's cool to see all the signs out there. Having met him finally, he's a cool dude. He's a really nice guy, and a lot of the candidates that are running this year out locally are just really, really nice, really good people. But they're strong and they're winners. So I don't want you to think we're voting for sweethearts. What I mean?
We got
we got fighters.
There's a lot of big things coming up. If you guys are out in Smithtown, come down to the campaign headquarters tomorrow. With Ed Warheim and the rest of the Smithtown crew. We're going to be down there helping them out as they've helped us out in the past. Ed's an awesome guy. I feel like I see him more than I see my family sometimes, but he's a hell of a guy. We're going to be down at Smithtown then. And then Sunday's Tobay Beach Club for the Long Island Car Show. That's going to be a wild day.
That'll be fun over there.
Every time I go down there, I just feel awful because I have my 13-year-old car.
And these guys all have like 60-year-old cars, and they all look beautiful.
They're all way nicer than mine.
Yeah.
Half the time I go down there, I see these car guys. I don't really feel like a real man, but whatever. I'll get over it. Wild day in the news. Wild week in the news.
Oh, there we go. And it is we finally have this thing going on Twitter. So that's good. I don't know if it's on my there it is. All right. You know what it was? You know what was throwing off the Twitter? The asterisk. Believe it or not, those 3 little asterisks that I like to put on the title threw the whole thing off.
The asterisks.
Yeah. Because it said it's a special character.
Didn't they brand Barry Bonds' home run with an asterisk?
But you see, now Twitter has something against special. Oh, I just talked about him the other day on Cordy's show. Remember when I said that Nancy Pelosi in the presence of water will melt faster than Cenk when
Well, that's because the only person fattening up faster than Brian Stelter is Cenk Uger.
Cenk is a disaster.
But I'll be honest, I'm a big fan of Anna Kasparian over there. She's someone who really, really pushes, body positivity and being proud of who you are. Directly after getting a nose job.
Right. One of the funniest things I've ever seen with Cenk was when Stephen Crowder's infiltrated that South by Southwest panel in a fat suit and the wig.
Okay.
Reasonable discussion.
It's so funny. That's just, God, Cenk sucks.
And it was so
My
funny.
favorite story about Cenk was about 3 months ago. When, he's a real big union guy.
Yeah.
He's a real big fan of unions until they wanted to unionize the Young Turks. Then suddenly all that money from the Qataris wasn't gonna help out the union there.
It was so funny.
I feel like I'm very loud right now.
No, you're good. You're good. It was so funny. I just toned down this part a little bit, but it was so funny watching that when Steven Crowder rushed in there and the one guy got up out of the panel and he just goes, "Oh, there's a seat open." He sits on the panel. So funny. So and hopefully louder with Crowder, there may be some stuff to do there. Who knows? But
Louder with Crowder, great guys.
Yeah, good. Really good, fantastic people. What do you think about it? Okay. Oh, give me my prop. Holy moly. I have to thank, I forgot the gentleman's name, but I have to thank him because last Saturday when we had the Trump rally at the America First Warehouse, I was given this. And when you think about it, we're looking at, I can't see the camera because I'm hiding behind this mask. I wonder if this mask is going to be good enough to walk in a supermarket with, okay, or into the schools when you look at it. I mean, this is too funny. So anytime we snap into character, you know what I'm saying? Hello, how are you? We're doing a great job.
There are now 3 people on the show.
Oh man, so lots to get to. A lot of changes and a lot of different goings on in this state and in the country. But it seems that we went from having the worst governor in the country to having the worst governor in the country.
It's unbelievable.
Because this lady is out of her mind. See, Kathy Hochul.
Andrew Cuomo was an asshole, but this woman's insane. Like, it's one thing to talk to God. It's a whole nother thing.
She comes out there and it's like, it's very scary when members of the government, who, by the way, and this is not in the case of most of the governors in the United States, but when you look at the governor in New York, Kathy Hochul, unelected, right? So nobody in this state voted for Kathy Hochul. Nobody, unless they voted for Andrew Cuomo simply because I'm going to appoint Kathy Hochul as my lieutenant governor, unless that was what made you vote for the guy. Nobody voted for her. And yet here she is, a member of government, unelected, dictating from Albany, okay? And not just that, but playing this divine entity. Oh, well, you know what? You should get the vaccine because it's what God wants. When government starts talking like that, it is time to run. I mean, it is time to be very, very scared.
I mean, look, the entire job of the lieutenant governor is to wake up, make sure the governor isn't dead, and then go back to sleep. When I worked in Albany, I genuinely don't know who the lieutenant governor was. And I worked in the same building. No idea. It could have been Kathy Hochul. I don't even know.
Oh, well, you know what? And then to tell everybody who's vaccinated and to talk about everybody who's vaccinated to be her apostles, right? Like this is some crusade, right? Like this is some missionary thing. Apostles, who the hell are you? Nobody voted for you. You walk around with a vax necklace on, which is quite frankly, it's a very weird thing to do.
It's very odd.
Like, I have my proof of vaccination dangling around my neck.
And it's one of those nameplates, okay? 1997 called. They want their nameplate back.
Yeah, that's one of those things from the 90s.
That's something you'd see in like a Jennifer Love Hewitt movie.
She's got the vax necklace. She's asking people to be her apostles, right? I put a tweet up. It did fairly well. Instagram happened to like the tweet a lot. And they said, I wrote, if you start hearing about governors and people in government talking about people being their apostles to take a vaccine, they're no longer governing. They're recruiting for a cult. All right. I'm sorry. But this Kathy Hochul, you want to hear all these people, and again, the left will always accuse us of what they themselves are doing. Right. They call you're in a cult. You talk to Russia. You talk to Russia. Okay. All right. That's what they did. They talked to Russia. They're in the cult. They're the ones that are practicing tactics that very, very eerily mirror Nazi Germany. Not a joke. Right. You must show your papers to get places. If you're unvaccinated, you're unclean. All of these different things. And now, meanwhile, there is an awakening happening. I don't know if you know, Kyrie Irving is not allowed to play basketball in Brooklyn because he's not vaccinated.
Well, Kyrie Irving,
but he also thinks the earth is flat.
Yeah, he's, you got to be careful when you glom onto what these celebrities think. But I want to see what the Brooklyn Nets do on this. Kyrie Irving's one of the best basketball players there is. And you know what? They staked their entire franchise on him. So we'll see how quickly the rules change.
Yeah, we'll see if the rules change.
Because I know in California, the players don't have to be vaccinated. But the fans do.
The fans do, right? Because
it's almost like there's two sets of rules out there.
Yeah. It kind of sounds like separate but equal.
Separate but equal.
I thought that was a bad idea.
Plessy versus Ferguson. We tried that already.
Plessy. Okay. We don't want to do it again. I can't.
It is too early for Supreme Court cases from 170 years ago.
But separate but equal. Like I thought we were done with that. But then again, we go back to we're calling people colored again. We just say people of color now. It's not colored people because that's any different. right? That's any different. It's the syntax of the word, right? Utah, I heard, is going with digital driver's licenses or something like that. Get ready. And they're tanking. This regime is tanking the ever-loving you-know-what out of the dollar. The dollar is going to be worth nothing soon. We got a big problem with the dollar.
I can't believe that progressives are actually going to vote this bill down because they're not spending enough.
Right. Yeah. Bernie and AOC.
3.5 trillion. That's not even a real number. That's like that's something that like Dr. Evil would ask for in Austin Powers. Like
it's an unreasonable. It's not a real number. It's a disaster. And
Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, the savers of the Republic. Who the hell ever would have thought that?
But we can't let that be what that should not be the status quo, right?
Luckily, here on Long Island, we have strong Republicans.
Yeah,
we have strong Republicans. And Andrew Garbarino.
Yeah, luckily we've got some really, really strong fighters. And Andrew Garbarino. Oh my God. Who is, and Steve Bannon put him on blast, said call him because he might vote for this bill. You know, when I posted on Facebook a couple weeks ago, I had heard, and I can't say who told me, but that Garbarino was supporting the infrastructure bill. Meanwhile, you look on there, you couldn't find it. Bannon put up on his podcast, right, a list of 12 or so congresswomen, and Garbarino was on the list, right? Andrew Garbarino is getting ready to support the infrastructure bill. And he first of all, the guy doesn't speak. He is quarantined. Like Andrew Garbarino is he might have actually patented quarantine when you think about
when
that.
I met the guy, he didn't even say hello. I can't imagine why.
But you know, the dude never shows up anyway, right? He's a no-show Garbarino. He's a low-energy guy. But think about it. He didn't deny any of the people that are coming out, and just not me, but Bannon. I mean, you know, everyone knows what Steve Bannon's saying. He didn't deny it. He didn't deny that he's supporting it, right? So this guy is, you know, he's a very lukewarm, kind of flimsy, spineless, jellyfish type rhino Republican. Not really a Republican, but very much acting like a Democrat. And
it's not even a Republican. He's a liberal.
He's a liberal. Andrew Garbarino's a liberal.
Voted for the SAFE Act.
Mm-hmm.
Voted for the SAFE Act.
Yeah, hey, take your guns.
Why did he do that? No one. I don't think he knows. You know what? Yeah, see, and this is a very important point. Okay, someone like Bernie Sanders. Okay, disagree with him on everything.
Sure,
but I respect him more than I respect spineless Republicans.
Yeah, because
I know that Bernie believes in what he's trying to do. He's wrong. He's divisive. But I know that he thinks that's the best foot forward.
Right.
I can't take people who put their finger up in the air, see which way the wind is blowing. See which way. Well, you know, this will get me more from the donors. This will get me more from Raytheon.
Right.
This will get me billions of dollars in tree equity, whatever the hell that means.
Yeah, they're doing tree equity. I forgot about that.
That's almost as dumb as that of the one example that we funded the study to find out what would happen when you put shrimp on a treadmill.
Yes, yeah, there was, and then
shrimp on a treadmill,
lizards that were drunk, and gender studies in Pakistan, and all that.
In fairness, I would pay for drunk lizards.
Yeah,
just to see what happens. If they act anything like me, they end up even closer to the ground.
That would be a very interesting study.
It would be very interesting. They like turn the wrong color on a leaf because they're so banged up.
They're on
a green leaf, they turn yellow.
Also, I want to tell you something too, that you are not wasting your time by watching or listening to We Will Not Comply, because 3 weeks ago we were sitting here in front of this camera, and I said, guys, I want you to pay attention to something. I want you to pay attention to the language that the left is using. And I want you to do so with regards to gun violence, right? And I remember saying this, and I think I said it on here. I might have said it on the Independence Gang with Britt and JV, and I'll be on that tonight. YouTube.com. It'll be streamed on the Independence Gang. I'll post a link later, but I'll be on the Indie Gang again tonight. Those guys are so much fun. And I love the fact that they keep having me. It's great. But I remember saying it on their show. I've said it on this show too, that the left and the Democrats and these people who like to weaponize government they're going to go ahead and start using this language to come at the guns, because obviously the one thing that is making the United States different from Australia is the fact that our population is armed and their population is not armed and has not been armed for about a decade. Okay. So when you look at the language that they're using, and this popped up on Twitter, and I had said this 3 weeks ago, September 2nd, it's a month now. September 2nd, I had said the following. The Democrats are going to call gun violence the next, quote, public health emergency and use every power-grabbing precedent that they set during COVID to take your guns away. Pay attention. This is what I tweeted on September 2nd, 9:16 in the morning this year, a month ago. Well, we saw coming in, the CDC is implementing a study on gun violence after labeling it a public health threat, aiming to, quote, craft swift interventions as they have done to contain the coronavirus. Timeout, offense. What part of the coronavirus has been contained? First of all, we went from 15 days to slow the spread to 570 days to slow the spread. Nothing is contained here. Dan Bongino says this all the time about masks because he always quotes from Moneyball, Billy Beane. If masks work so well, why don't they? Right? Billy Beane, if he's a good hitter, why doesn't he hit good? This is what he says. If masks work so well, why don't they? Same thing with the vaccine. If vaccines work so well, why don't they work? Why are 74% of cases and hospitalizations in Oregon vaccinated patients? If it works, that's absurd.
My favorite is when they say a third of the COVID hospitalizations
are unvaccinated. Holy hell! Math. Let's do it.
What about the other 2/3?
What could they be? Oh, maybe they're vaccinated.
And look, guys, we say it all the time. If you want to get the vaccine,
get
the vaccine if you want it. We're not telling anybody what not. If you want to wear a mask, go ahead. I don't know why.
You want to rock the deuce? Rock the
deuce.
deuce. Throw a mask on. Throw another mask on. That's called the deuce, Dan Bongino.
Luckily, very soon we'll all be in masks because Halloween's coming.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have.
Halloween is coming.
Yes, it is.
We're also going to start a poll on what Sean and I should be for Halloween. We've got several options. We've got
Bert and Ernie.
We've got Bert and Ernie.
We've
got the number 10.
Jay and Silent Bob.
There's
the number 10.
We could be Jerry and George.
Number 10.
Number 10. I want to give a shout out to Eddie for that one. That was a drunk comment. I don't think he meant to say, because basically what he was saying to me is that one of us is significantly rounder than the other one. Thank you for that one, Eddie.
The number 10.
The number
That's
10.
So funny.
That would be great because then we don't have to buy anything.
But listen, the CDC, again, they're looking to, okay, so this is the full tweet. CDC implements study on, quote, gun violence after labeling it a, quote, public health threat, aiming to craft swift interventions as they have done to contain the coronavirus failed and other national health emergencies, right? What did I say? Public health emergency, gun violence, et cetera, et cetera. This has been their plan all along, okay? They want the guns because that's the last thing standing in their way to completely weaponize every institution. They've already done it, but to completely weaponize every institution against people who dare to think differently. They are not a diverse party. They're not about diversity at all. They're certainly not about diversity of thought. They're nothing. Look, what happened to Nicki Minaj? You take one step out of line, you're canceled, banned from Twitter. God forbid you ask questions about a vaccine.
Ooh,
right?
Barry says we should be Abbott and Costello.
Oh, Barry. Abbott and Costello. We could
definitely do.
Who's on first?
What's on second?
I don't know. Who's on third? it's one of those things. They're looking to take the firearms. It's obviously, this has been a part of their plan for quite some time. They're coming for the guns. They're coming for the kids. The kids they got them masked up. They're poisoning them in the classroom. This is what's going on right now. And this is the plan that the left has. It's time to call it out. And we have to be bold with how we talk about these people, right? They're bold at how they talk about us. Right? They like to make up crap about me.
Oh.
They like to say all the wonderful things that we're somehow connected to these, first of all, well-financed organizations, which I haven't seen a damn dime.
Yeah, well-financed. 140,000 miles on my car.
Right. I mean, hey.
Look, and then, you got the Smithtown School Board meeting the other day. Shout out to our friend Andrew from Save the Schools.
Yes.
Decided to let us know that there is a lunatic on the loose in Smithtown. Someone who is batshit crazy. Of course, I'm not a doctor, so I can't diagnose her
as soup crazy.
So I can't diagnose her as mentally ill, but she does. Two of her kids have restraining orders out against her, which is probably a sign.
That's a sign.
Someone seeking public office in Smithtown is going.
Yeah, here we go. So Rose Chabaro is saying, here we go. A young child came up and said, "I'm a neo-Nazi." This is something that we deal with on the regular. I don't know where they get this information from.
That we were handing out pamphlets,
right? And so
I have never made a pamphlet. I don't in my life.
Yeah, I don't. We don't.
I don't want that. I never handed out a pamphlet ever.
But I will say
luckily
this.
she set a record and in public.
I will say this. If that continues, there's going to be really serious consequences.
It's going to be really bad.
So you might look. I know there's trolls, and I know these people like to watch the stream because they're the first thing that we are the first thing they think about when they wake up in the morning. And now they're like, oh my God, they're streaming again. So they're probably in here. If that continues, there's going to be a very serious legal problem on your hands. No violence.
I think we're going to be residents of Smithtown.
Yeah. There's, unless they don't really have much, but I'm not so sure.
Which isn't awful because, I can raise kids in Smithtown.
Listen,
I'm a good lacrosse team.
I'm just telling you that's got to stop. So it's either you're going to stop or you're going to be forced to stop.
I've never seen Superbad, but someone says we should be McLovin and Jonah Hill.
I haven't seen.
Are there any examples where the fat one can not be Goofy?
I don't know. Listen, man, we can do The Hangover.
I still think we should be Kermit.
You could be Zach Galifianakis, and I mean, obviously.
Oh my God, that's please, no one respond to that.
Yeah. And obviously, I'm, because I mean, there's a resemblance there. Let's just be real. There's a Bradley Cooper resemblance there. Everybody knows it. The Hangover, the Wolfpack. Come on. So if that type of nonsense keeps going on you do look like Zach Galifianakis. You look like Zach Galifianakis a little bit, okay? What do you think about it? But if that does continue to go on at these board meetings, we're going to start calling
Farley and Spade.
Farley and Spade, okay.
I mean, that doesn't end so well for me, but whatever.
But hey, so that there is a lunatic on the loose in Smithtown.
There is a lunatic on the loose in Smithtown. She's running for I think she's running for a town supervisor.
Yeah,
which is hilarious. Her 13-year-old Vay is running the campaign, which is hilarious to me that right now there's a campaign being run by a person who's never shaved before.
Yeah, it's very interesting. YouTube has banned Ron Paul.
YouTube has banned Ron Paul.
just jump. No segue.
No, just dive right in.
Just dive right in.
By the way, everyone, before we get to this, stick around for the end of the show because I've got a story that's going to make Sean's head explode.
My head. I can't wait for my head to explode.
It's going to be. It's so exciting because it is the dumbest story I've ever seen in my life. For two reasons. One, because it's about something that I think is really dumb, but it's even dumber in the culture war. It's going to be wild. Make sure you guys stick around for the very end of the show.
Yeah, stick around for the end.
Make sure you guys sign up at loudmajorityus.com to get all the show notes. You're going to want to read this stupid story just because it's hilarious.
And just to be completely clear, I don't know what he's talking about.
It's going to be wild.
I have no idea.
I've got it on the screen right now.
I'm not even looking.
No, I've got the stream up, but it's waiting.
Okay. Oh, it's waiting.
That's coming at 7:55, ladies and gentlemen. 7:55-ish.
So Ron Paul, who has called this stuff out for decades at this point, is now banned from YouTube. The man who is, look, you can call him whatever you want. He's like the libertarian, right? He's the libertarian.
Named his son after my favorite author. Ayn Rand.
He is the one who is pro-Constitution, open the whole thing up. Let's take it down to the bare minimum. Okay, let's take it down to the original interpretation of the Constitution, the original reason why the Constitution was written, free speech, the Bill of Rights, all of that. And you ban him from YouTube. You ban him from YouTube. It's pretty ridiculous that this is what we're dealing with. So no strikes, no violations, but here comes YouTube telling them that there were severe or repeated violations of their community guidelines. The channel is rarely used and the appeal was automatically rejected. This is just because Ron Paul speaks the truth just a little too much, but it's okay because what YouTube is doing, much like what Joe Biden is doing, is they are making a very, what they're doing is they're sending a lot of users. They're making Rumble very popular. And what that's going to do for Rumble is it's going to blow up over there. Bongino's happy. He's a stakeholder in Rumble, right? He always says, if you ban my show, he asks YouTube, please ban my show on YouTube, because then all of the people who watch on YouTube are going to have to go to Rumble. He's going to make more money. So YouTube is, I think they're shooting themselves in the foot. They've just been overtaken by TikTok in terms of video watch time.
That's probably because of people like you.
Well, yeah, but on TikTok.
I mean, not for nothing. Everyone loves watching you order my Taco Bell.
Listen, and here's the other thing too. I've got an idea for tonight. I'm going to do another one tonight. It's going to be pretty funny, and then I'm going to do a fast food one on Sunday, because I'm going to cheat on Sunday for the 3 weeks, because keto's not a diet; it's a lifestyle, folks. I hope you understand. And I've been going 3 weeks straight. I got a lot of energy, but it gives me a cheat day on Sunday when I go watch that pathetic disgrace of a football team that people refer to as the New York Jets, with a quarterback who doesn't seem to understand not to throw the ball to the people wearing the opposite jerseys as our people. But hey, welcome to Jets football, right? That's just what our quarterbacks do. But Ron Paul has been suspended from YouTube. I'm a big fan of Ron Paul. One of the books that changed the way I think about things is Liberty Defined by Ron Paul. If you read it, you'll see that he was calling all of these things out back in the Obama administration, way back in the early 2000s. Even before that, he was talking about these issues way ahead of his time.
He's the guy that brought up the idea of auditing the Fed.
I would 100% support auditing the Fed.
Before that, a lot of people were like, audit the Fed.
Right.
What is that?
What is that? Right.
You know, he was the first one to talk about this. Huge libertarian. Like I said, he's actually in Atlas Shrugged, the movie.
Yeah, and he's
which is my favorite. If you're a conservative and you haven't read Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand, please sit down and read
He's
it.
a libertarian, but he's not a libertarian in the sense of Gary Johnson, where he's really a liberal. He's a libertarian in terms of like a Jeffersonian a constitutionalist, Ron Paul. Yeah. So
and he's a rational libertarian. There are some libertarians out there who are like, the government has no right to tell you need to wear clothes outside.
And it's like, all right,
it's like, yeah, but okay, maybe they don't, but please.
I like that rule.
Please put some pants on.
By the way, I don't even like seeing people's toes. So yes, please clothe yourselves. Okay.
People that want to be outside naked are always the last people who should be outside naked.
Yeah, of course. And
it's never Christy Brinkley in 1982.
By the way, you want to go outside naked? Go ahead and do it. Just make sure I can't see. I really don't care. Just I don't want to see you. That's all.
High fences.
Yes, the tallest, or I call it a wall. Okay.
Great fences make great neighbors.
The majority of people in the United States think it's too easy to vote. Wow. So we have a poll. This is on our website, Hot Air. A guy pulled it off up on GinaReport.com.
Hot Air's a good site.
But one theme that the Democrats have been pushing for years now is the idea that Republican lawmakers have been trying to suppress turnout by passing, quote, restrictive voting laws that disenfranchise people and make it more difficult to register and vote. They've received a lot of support from most of the mainstream media, where talking heads repeat these allegations as if they were factual. All of this is being done despite the fact that many red states that have passed new, widely criticized voting laws, such as Georgia, have more permissive voting procedures and more days of early voting than some blue states like New York. But the one question I keep trying to raise is where we might find all these people who are having trouble voting. And is the public really buying the malarkey? A new poll from Morning Consult may give us a good indication as to the answer to the second question. As the Washington Examiner reports, the question was put to the public, and contrary to Democratic talking points, a significant plurality of the public thinks that it is actually already too easy to vote, leading to the possibility of votes being cast illegally. This is not a conservative talking point. This is something that came from a poll. Democrats have spent years now fear-mongering about voter suppression. People are not buying it. According to a Morning Consult poll, 44% of adults believe that current voting laws are, quote, not strict enough to prevent votes from being cast illegally. Only 33% think that current voting laws make it too difficult for eligible citizens to vote. Independent voters believe 35% to 29% that it is too easy to vote rather than too difficult. Hispanics are evenly split on the issue, and 30% of black voters believe that voting laws are too permissive. Okay, so you're looking at the majority of the people. Well, there's technically a plurality of the people, but the majority of those who returned results in the polls there are saying that, and it's a growing number, that it's too easy to vote in this country, and we're seeing that. Right? Because we're hearing stories about you moved across the country and received a ballot from California. You're hearing that dead people are voting in elections, which is okay. Look, are there enough dead votes cast in an election to tip the scales and to absolutely change the election? Maybe not. But isn't that an issue in and of itself that dead people are voting? Because we shouldn't have votes that are coming in from sources where it's physically impossible for those votes to be cast. I asked this once at a Belmore Republican Club meeting and put somebody on the spot, and he didn't like it too much. But he goes, well, because somebody asked, what are we doing about election integrity? And he goes, well, I don't remember the guy's name. He's like, I happen to know that dead people voted. And I raised my hand and I said, so you just admitted that that a dead person voted in the election, correct? And he said, yes. And I went, now we can both agree that's something that physically can't happen, right? Like if the person is dead, he can't vote on election day if he or she is not alive. Yeah, that's right. I said, okay, cool. So what are you doing about it? And it was a homina. If you've ever seen The Honeymooners, when Ralph has to answer the whatever $1,000 question, and it was the song that Ed Norton played, and he didn't know that it was Swanee River, and he says Ed Norton. So, he got it all wrong, and he was off the game show after studying for that long, right? So if it's physically impossible for a dead person to vote, how are dead people voting, and what are we doing to clean it up? Clearly, it is too easy for votes to be cast because the dead voting issue has been going on for years. But now with the mail-in ballots, now with what's gone on through COVID, what Mark Elias was doing, and we have to focus in on what that man is doing. He is a very sneaky person. He is campaign lawyer one in the Michael Sussman indictment. So Mark Elias is in there. Please pay attention to that. Perkins Coie is very, very dirty. They've been getting involved in elections since before 2019, but he was going in, suing in all the swing states to expand the absentee ballot program, to stuff the ballots with mail-in ballots that came from God knows where. Okay, watch this man, but it is definitely too easy for anybody to walk into a polling place and vote. How do we know that? Because you don't need voter ID. You don't need identification to prove who you are. If I walked in and said, my name is Joe Johnson, and there's a Joe Johnson that lives in West Babylon, and I sign his name, it's over. I could vote for Joe, and then I can go back and vote for myself. And that's illegal. But voter fraud doesn't exist. No secure election in history. It's a whole lot of garbage. And it's definitely, look at it. It's way too easy for people to cast ballots.
Particularly if you have a name like mine.
Right.
How many Kevin Smiths do you think are on Long Island? I'll tell you, a lot. There's at least one in my family.
Right. Yeah.
My father.
Yeah, your dad's name's Kevin Smith.
It wouldn't be hard when, years and years from now, when the old man goes, for someone with the same name as their father to go vote for them twice.
Right.
Just that alone.
Right.
Just that alone. And look, guys, if you guys want to get involved with election integrity, there is a way to do it. You can sign up to work election day.
You got to get trained up to be a poll watcher.
Guys, you get paid to do this. If you're retired and you're home and you're kicking back and you're pissed off about election integrity and you want to be there, the Board of Elections will pay you $200 on election day to sit there and check people in. It's not hard.
And the other thing about
all you got to do is go on the Board of Elections website and sign up for it.
You got to get trained.
And they will give you the classes on what to do. We know people at the Board of Elections. Dominic Thorne, awesome guy. This is how you guys get involved on election day.
Right.
This is how you guys monitor what's going on.
Yep, and Andy Whitman is actually bringing up something that I was just about to bring up, and Andy's running for receiver of taxes in Islip, town of Islip. Yep. Andy's great. I've met him, and he's a fighter, and he's a winner, and we love Andy. And so if you can go help him out. Shout out to, I think his name is Kevin Quinn. He's been walking and working really hard for Dom Thorne.
Absolutely.
Out there in District 7, as has another gentleman. I saw him post it. Dom took a picture with him yesterday. The name slips my mind. But shout out to them. Anybody who's helping Dom, because I'll tell you right now, Dom is a real, a genuine person. When he wins that election against Clarko, who's a Cuomo lapdog. Right. When Dom Thorne wins that election, that's going to be a representative we can trust and we can rely on. And I cannot wait. To be with him when he wins. It's going to be a great time.
Speaking of the county legislature, this Tuesday, we will be putting it out across all of our platforms, all the information. This Tuesday, 9:30 in the morning to 2 p.m. is a county legislature meeting. They're holding a vote on several different things Flood the zone, everyone. If you can make it down there, it's in Hauppauge. I'm going to get the exact address in a little bit. It'll be in the show notes. It'll be all over my Facebook, Sean's Facebook, Twitter, all over the place. We need to flood this county legislature meeting. We saw what you guys did for the school boards. Now we can all coalesce in one particular place and stand up for each other. Stand up for each other. We can see guys like Doc Spencer up in Huntington, who got arrested for trading sex for drugs. Still a county legislator. We could see people like Rob Clarko, who is Andrew Cuomo's lapdog and thinks he's going to replace Steve Ballone in 23, which ain't going to happen, I'll tell you that.
No, it's not going to happen.
The only thing that guy's going to lose worse than that election is a little bit more hair.
Yes.
Which, and frankly, there's not much there to begin with. This Tuesday, county legislator meeting. Everyone, we're going to be there. I'm banging in sick to work. If you're watching at work, yeah, that's going to happen. I'll be there all day, 9:30 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. We need you guys there. We'll have the information up in a little bit.
And on the back of it's time to start talking about, we're going to be talking about this for the next month. When you go to vote on November 2nd, it's very important that everybody who, when they're filling in their little vote, their ballot there for your local representatives and whoever else is on the ballot this year. And now this goes for the entire state of New York. So if you're up in Plattsburgh, if you're out in Syracuse and Buffalo, if you're in Oneonta, if you're watching from Albany, shout out to the CNY Informed folks who may be watching now or later. Love those guys up the Albany rally crew up there. All across the state, New York City. Okay. Flip the ballot over and please vote no on the provisions.
On all three referendums, please vote no.
What it will do is it's going to add same-day voter registration, so you can walk into the polls, an unregistered voter, register, and go ahead and vote. It's going to allow unsolicited mass mail-in ballots for the rest of your life in New York. We need to vote this down. This cannot pass. Okay, so you flip that ballot over. Okay, all across the state of New York, you're going to have your own local races to vote in and then statewide referendums on the back. Please flip it over and vote like hell no. And stop before, here it comes. I know it's coming already. Don't talk about machines, okay? Because if you paid attention to the Arizona audit that we were all very excited about, we found out that the machine count matched the hand count. So we also found out that the machines had the capability to connect to the internet, which now we know needs to be stopped because someone's going to try and hack it because they know it can be hacked.
Well, there was that kid like 6 years ago that went to some geek convention and hacked into the Georgia voting system in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, but it's not the machines, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not the machines, guys. It's the mail-in ballots.
It's the mail-in ballots. And whether or not you think an election is rigged or not, if you don't go out and vote in that election, you can't win. Look at California. You can go ahead and tell me that California was rigged all day long, right? They had almost 6 million votes that voted to keep Gavin Newsom and 2.8 million votes that voted to remove Gavin Newsom. They had 2 million signatures on the recall petition. You needed 2 million signatures to reach that goal. If every person who signed that petition was able to bring out just 3 friends, just 3 people who they knew, right? They would have won the recall election. Think about that. That's how important it is to get out the vote. That's how important it is you want to talk about being an apostle. I'm not going to go out and make this a holy crusade. This is politics, and we don't want to mix the two. But all they had to do, each person who signed that petition needed to bring out just 3 friends. 3. And they would have had 6 million votes. And they would have won, and they would have removed Gavin Newsom. Okay? In Georgia, for the Senate runoffs, when Lynn Wood and Sidney Powell decided to tell everybody about Krakens and Dominion and all these crazy things and undermine trust in the system. And by the way, the system needs to be audited. The system needs to be reformed. It needs to be secured. I'm not arguing that. But until we have that, we have to inundate the system legally with our votes. Okay? We have to make it so hard for the other side to cheat, okay? Because we've put up monster numbers. You see, we're still in the driver's seat here. And if we continue to undermine trust in the system and continue to tell everybody, well, your vote doesn't count because the elections are rigged, then people are going to stop voting. And you have to understand something. If you're wrong about the election being, if you're wrong about the election being rigged, if you're wrong about it, then you've just told people not to vote. And we've lost. I see someone in here. You're protecting Dominion. I'm not protecting to anybody. I'm not protecting anybody. Hold on a second. I'm going to respond to this. I just said they're not supposed to be connected to the internet. But the Arizona audit said it itself, Gene. Okay? I really want you to do your research. The machine count matched the hand count. So tell me how the machines flip votes. I am waiting. It didn't happen. Folks, it's a much easier explanation to say there were a ton of mail-in ballots and a bunch of them may not have been legitimate than to say the votes bounced from server to server to server, from Spain to Germany to Italy to the United to Sirius XM radio to an outpost on the moon that China put there that went back down to China, out of Wuhan, like the bat and the COVID virus, came back to the United States and they rigged the election. Do you understand the amount of dots that had to be connected to prove that level of fraud? They're not there. At least we can't see them. And quite frankly, and I love the man. I think he's great. I think he was extremely helpful during the pandemic, repurposing his company to make PPE. I think Mike Lindell is a genuine individual. I think the information that he's been fed, a lot of it is just way too speculative, way too unconfirmed for me to rest my hopes on that, when I can point back to a 2019 article at Mark Elias, campaign lawyer 1. He's in a freaking indictment, okay? This guy was suing to make the mass mail-in ballot program possible before COVID-19 was a twinkle in anybody's eye. That's the way they rigged it, folks. Stop telling people it's the machines. There may very well be issues with our voting machines. And one of the big issues is that they connect to the internet and they are vulnerable. I'm not disagreeing. But what I'm saying is, in the Arizona audit, if these machines were flipping votes, they would have caught that. They didn't. The hand count matched the machine count, guys. They matched it. Actually, Biden got 99 more votes that way. Now, that doesn't mean all those ballots were legal. And that does not mean I'm saying that there was a fair election in Arizona. But what it means is all of those concerns about the machines, they're not concerns that we should be focused on now. Flood the polls with real votes in a month on November 2nd. Vote like there's absolutely no cheating. Train yourselves up to be poll watchers and work the polls as if they're trying to steal it. That is the answer. Because quite frankly, in a month, quite frankly, in a month, we're not getting rid of Dominion machines in New York in certain counties. In a month, it's not happening across the United States. Not. But we have, please don't undermine. If you don't want to vote in the system and you're that convinced that your vote doesn't count, keep it to yourself. Please, because you're not helping anybody.
That's why we have Raphael Warnock and Jonathan Ossoff in the Senate. Because Georgia didn't come out to vote because they thought their vote didn't matter. And now they have 50+1. They have an unstoppable majority in both houses of Congress.
And now we have to rely on freaking Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. I don't want to do that. I want to rely on guys like Rand Paul.
There is no reason why the Georgia Senate should be Democrats, except for the fact that people were disheartened. They were disillusioned about what's going on with the voting systems, and people didn't come out to vote. You need to come. If you don't want to play along in this system, I don't know what to tell you, because right now this is what we got. Right now this is what we have. And if you're not going to come out and vote, then I don't want to hear you bitching about it. I frankly don't, because you know what? People who don't want to get engaged, but they want to share memes on Facebook, you're not helping.
No, I mean, it's great. It's wonderful. You get a bunch of likes on Facebook, but we need boots on the ground. We need that effort. And I'm not trying to declare war on anybody.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
we're not fighting with people.
Folks,
here.
I was very upset with Larry Elder for saying that he thought the 2020 election was fair. Guys, I'm on your side. I'm trying. You have to understand, I am not the enemy, and you're not my enemy. Believe me. I'm just saying that if we're going to keep talking about machines, when we have articles and documented proof that they were trying to attack the system through the mail, please look up Mark Elias 2019 lawsuits. Read about these. That was their plan all along, and COVID fell into their lap, and that's what they used. Michigan, though, there's some good news out of Michigan. They are passing a Michigan election security proposal advances with strong voter support. The initiative requires all voters to present a valid Michigan driver's license, passport, or state ID card when voting in person. A signed affidavit by a person not having a photo ID would no longer suffice. See, these are the laws that we need to be putting in place in Michigan. All right. Gretchen Whitmer, a Democrat, has repeatedly vowed to veto any measure she believes would restrict the voting rights of Michigan residents. But the Secure MI vote proposal isn't a bill, nor does it originate in the state legislature. It's a voter-initiated legislation, which is cool. That's a we the people thing going on over there in Michigan. The petition collects more than 340,000 valid signatures within 6 months. Under Michigan law, the Republican-controlled state legislature could vote to accept the proposal as the will of the people, and it would become law. How about that over in Michigan?
That's
so you have that is what we are about, happening in real time in Michigan. If they get just 340,000 signatures over there on a petition within 6 months under the law in Michigan, they cut Gretchen Whitmer right out of the process. The Republican-controlled state legislature in Michigan would then be allowed to vote to accept that proposal as a law crafted and passed by the people. And it would become law. Or it could be placed on the ballot as a referendum in the next general election. But look at the power of the people coming together in Michigan. It's happening. Now, there aren't provisions like that in the state of New York. Okay? But just seeing that this is what's going on, folks. There is an awakening that's happening. You're seeing it in like I said, I'm not going to rest my laurels on Kyrie Irving, right? The guy thinks the earth is flat. He's a little bit out there. But Jonathan Isaac from the Orlando Magic, who came and lectured the media on why he doesn't want to take the vaccine, and he said, love thy neighbor, even those you disagree with. Don't just love the people you agree with. You're not going to grow that way, right? He says he doesn't want to take the vaccine. He had COVID already. Same thing. Bradley Beal, Washington Wizards, the same thing. He said, I know people who are vaccinated and they got COVID, right? It's not a bad thing. Okay. I'm not saying the vaccine isn't keeping people out of the hospital or mitigating some of the effects, but why aren't we having the conversation about natural immunity?
Why aren't we having the conversation about the fact that the number one comorbidity of COVID-19 is obesity?
And that was created by the FDA.
And people are blown away by the fact that that people who are 27 years old, not at risk, in maybe the greatest physical form of any human out there, basketball players in peak physical shape, don't want it, don't need it. Joe Rogan talks about it a lot, how no one talks about getting healthier. And look, I'm not exactly the healthiest person in the world, so I think I'm allowed to say this. But the fact is, right now, we closed the gyms during COVID, but the number one comorbidity of COVID is obesity. So you don't give people the opportunity to exercise, to get in better shape, to maybe be a little bit healthier. You close all the restaurants, but you leave McDonald's open.
All right. You left all the unhealthy options.
You left all the unhealthy options open, but you don't let people, now you can't walk into a supermarket in New York City without a vaccine card.
Right.
So where are you going to go? The only place you can go without a vaccine card: McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Checkers, the whole gaggle. You can go to fast food does not require a vaccine passport or proof of vaccination to go into it, but every other restaurant does. If you guys can't see what's going on here, they are trying to bleed out every small business. Mm-hmm. They're trying to get rid of every mom and pop shop so that it's all corporations and it's all government controlled. It's all run by the donors.
Yeah, they're seizing control of everything in this.
Why do you think they're doing this with the eviction moratorium?
Mm-hmm.
Because sooner or later, when these landlords say, you know what, it's not even worth it to have an apartment building in New York City.
The government's going to buy them up.
The government's going to buy them up, pennies on the dollar, turn them into low-income housing, and it's going to become what Eastern Europe was in the 1980s.
And by the way, before you tell your story, just real quick, our favorite, I think he might be one of these people who identifies as the different gender.
He actually doesn't have testicles. I can't confirm that, but I'm assuming so.
I actually saw a missing poster on the milk carton this morning, and they were looking for Lindsey Graham's manhood, but we haven't seen it in a while. But Lindsey Graham is defending General Milley for making the calls to China to say, don't worry, we'll stop the commander-in-chief. It's okay. So we have this potentially treasonous act that Mark Milley's doing, this subversion of the chain of command. It's not his role to do these things. And you have Lindsey Graham defending it, because we all know Lindsey Graham was never a fan of Donald Trump. He implanted himself on Trump's rump for the 4 years of Trump's presidency to avoid, getting destroyed, because he knows Donald Trump was popular. And now that Donald Trump's out of the way, he's back to being Lindsey Graham again, right? His little implosion in the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, maybe it was genuine, maybe it was theater, maybe the guy's a good actor, maybe the guy was pissed off that day. I don't know, but all I can tell you is that his true colors are showing again. The same guy who has been flaky and spineless and have no backbone, going through this, through the process is back. He's defending General Milley, and I think it's disgusting. So
it's that, and General Milley's one of the, not General Milley. Lindsey Graham is one of those people that really, really annoys the crap out of me, because they're like, oh, I was in the military. You spent like 2 years as a military lawyer in the Air Force. Lindsey Graham has never been on the front lines of anywhere. They come out of law school and they take these cushy little jobs in the JAG Corps, like Tom Cruise in what the hell's that movie with Jack Nicholson? You Can't Handle the Truth.
I don't know. I forgot what movie that's from. I don't know.
It's like the greatest movie ever.
No, it's not Star Wars, so it's not the greatest movie ever.
Oh, well, what a segue into the story.
Oh, get out of here. It's about Star Wars?
It is about Star Wars.
Okay, so go to the story, because my head's going to explode.
All righty, from Scientific American. The term Jedi has become problematic. The term Jedi has become problematic. You see, Jedi is being used as an acronym to stand for justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. And this is problematic. This is very problematic. You see, they are a religious order of intergalactic police monks prone to white saviorism and toxic masculinity, approaching conflict resolution. They use phallic-shaped lightsabers in a violent way. This is coming from Scientific American, so it's good to know that there are no American scientists out there.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this gets better.
This guy doesn't understand that Star Wars is a history movie. It took place a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Now I'm being told that Jedis are an emblem of toxic masculinity.
The Jedi are also an exclusionary cult, membership to which is partly predicted on the possession of heightened psychic and physical abilities or force sensitivity. See, Jedis are bad because they don't include everyone, because not everyone can be a Jedi. Oh, God, I've been sitting on this story for a week. I've been sitting on this story forever.
So who do they like, the Sith?
Star Wars has a problematic cultural legacy.
Oh, my God.
A problematic cultural legacy. We've done it, everyone. Oh, and you know what the big problem is? Star Wars arguably conflates allieness with non-whiteness. Well, it's like alienness with non-whiteness. First off, isn't Samuel L. Jackson a Jedi?
Not only was here comes the nerd. Not only was Samuel L. Jackson a Jedi, Samuel L. Jackson was one of the most powerful characters in the entire prequel trilogy. Right? Now the lines that they wrote for the man were terrible, but he was one of the best. Everyone loves Mace Windu. He had the purple lightsaber. He was able to channel the dark side. Samuel L. Jackson. He took down the Emperor. No, he didn't throw that fight. The Emperor got his ass kicked in Revenge of the Sith. Samuel L. Jackson was the man. And Anakin, what have I done? And he shoots him with the thing.
Are you ready? I got one more for you. Star Wars.
And Samuel L. Jackson, by the way, let me just clear this up, is not a white man. Thank you. Go ahead.
Star Wars, often seemingly to rely on racist stereotypes when depicting non-human species.
Time out.
Say that Darth Vader is an ableist. Darth Vader is an ableist because he uses his powers against Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker has one hand.
Darth Vader had no hands, first of all. He had both of his arms cut off. Number two, voiced by a black man. His name is James Earl Jones.
Oh, don't you know that's a problem? Because he was voiced by a black man, but he was played by a white man.
Were they supposed to stick James Earl Jones in that suit?
Darth Vader,
roly-poly. Are you kidding me? Sorry, James Earl Jones, but you're a little big. It wouldn't have worked out. Oh, my goodness. David Prowse, he played Darth Vader. Rest in peace. He died. Oh,
indeed, Star Wars has aggressively advocated the recentering of white men in the franchise.
Lando Calrissian was black. I can't take this anymore.
With some equating recent casting decisions with white genocide. By the way, this comes from a science journal. A science journal. Is it because it's science fiction?
This is a real article.
This is a real article. And not only is it a real article, but it's like a 5,000 word article.
Oh my God. A Scientific American Star Wars. Oh, I'm putting it in the show notes. Don't worry about it. This is it, what's it called? This, where is it? Oh, why the term Jedi is problematic. Oh my goodness. So they're promoting justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. And because the acronym is Jedi, they have an issue because the Jedi, which are not a real group,
you ready for this?
We're racist.
Star Wars and Star Trek memorabilia, such as posters in computer science classrooms, can reinforce masculinist stereotypes about computer sciences, contributing to women's sense that they don't belong in the field. Look, ladies out there, if you got out of computer science because you saw a Star Wars poster in one of your classrooms, how committed were you to the field in the first place? Scientific American. Well, it's very, and apparently this is a huge problem here. This is why women don't go into STEM fields, because Jedi are, I guess that would be reinforcing the cis heteronormative patriarchy, words that have absolutely no meaning whatsoever, but have fallen into the lexicon because we've allowed them to. I will never use the word cisgender around one of these idiots because I refuse to use their language, but it's just funny that cis is not a word.
No.
SIS.
CIS.
CIS?
Yeah.
I can't even spell the damn word. 3 letters, for Christ's sakes. Star Wars is problematic. Moreover, the Jedi are problematic.
The Jedi are problematic.
Because these people are evil.
You know what?
They're evil people. I don't even like Star Wars. It's the dumbest movie.
Excuse me.
It's so stupid.
Excuse me.
It gives 45-year-old men an excuse to be 12-year-old boys.
Me.
It's so dumb.
Fake news.
So long.
Right.
They keep making new ones.
Fake
They're
news.
just bleeding money out of this damn thing.
True?
And all you keep going to see it, have a party. But all I know is that being a Jedi is problematic, and I want to be inclusive.
I find your lack of faith to serve. See, here's the, and I will tell it to you, and I will tell it to Scientific American, anti-science. You don't like Star Wars, and they're calling it. I find your lack of faith disturbing, to quote Darth Vader, okay? The power to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force, folks. That's problematic. These aren't the droids you're looking for. Racism. Unbelievable. Not inclusive enough. The Jedi. I am absolutely blown away. And the fact that when we think about how woke Star Wars has gotten, right? And it's still not good enough. That's the point. And that's where I'm going to end on. It's never going to be good enough for the left. It's never going to be good enough for the left. No matter how far left you go. Disney thought they were winning when they did woke Star Wars. Disney thought they were winning when they seeped in some of that stuff into the new movies. And still, they're being called out for the Jedi being exclusive, being a symbol of all of this toxic masculinity. They're not inclusive enough. Apparently, Samuel L. Jackson isn't black, nor is James Earl Jones or Lando Calrissian, Billy D. Williams, who was in the old movies and the new movie. Apparently, that don't work. Apparently, the man who plays Finn, I forgot his name in the new movie. He's not black either. I totally forgot the man's name. It totally slipped in my mind. But apparently, these people don't exist. It will never be good enough for the left. Ever. Stop caving. Stop giving in. Stop fearing that you're going to be canceled, because if you continue to just bow to them, eventually there's going to be no room for you, and they're still going to come for you. Nicki Minaj, they're coming after Star Wars. Disney owns the damn brand. And it is very, very hard to be more woke than Disney. Guys, and it's still not good enough. Don't give in.
Now you know why I've been sitting on this for a week.
Oh, my God.
Now you know why I've been sitting on this for a week.
It's a disgrace, okay? A disgrace.
I think you should win an Emmy for that rant.
Oh, well, it's been more deserved than Andrew Cuomo.
You should win an Emmy for that rant. That was unbelievable.
Okay.
And, oh, God. It's, I saw this story, and, we didn't film. We couldn't film Monday.
Right.
And then we had to cancel Wednesday really early, and all I thought was, oh, God, he's going to see the story.
No, I didn't see it.
He's going to see the story.
I didn't see it.
I've been waiting on this, sitting on this. Like, I was like a kid on Christmas Eve.
I didn't see it. I had no idea.
Jacked up, ready to go to bed so that Santa could come. Santa has come, and he has brought the gifts, everyone.
Oh, the gifts are here.
That was so spectacular to watch. I'm going to rewatch it later.
You know what? The next time we do a stream, I'm bringing in my lightsaber, as I have one. maybe my Darth Vader
Of
helmet.
course,
too.
they had to say that the lightsaber was problematic.
Phallic.
Because it was phallic.
Phallic. It's a sword. What else is a sword supposed to look like? It's a damn light saber. You show me a saber that's not phallic. Maybe those pirate swords, the scimitars. You know those curved ones. You know that the.
I'll tell you what swords aren't phallic. Sickles.
But that's not a sword. It's called a sickle.
Like
it's not a sword.
Like hammer and sickles.
Oh my goodness. So thank you guys for watching the stream. I know that we did get going on Twitter a little late. We will upload the full audio to we will not comply.podbean.com. Go search on your
Disney is the kiss of
yes, absolutely. We will not comply. Search it on any of your podcasting platforms. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on Apple Podcasts. You can find it on Google Podcasts. You can basically find it just about anywhere. We will not comply. It's the audio version of everything, so you can hear the whole thing and not have to watch it and stream it on YouTube. We are on YouTube, youtube.com/Long Island Loud Majority. Follow the new Instagram. It's at Loud Majority now, because the other account got the axe. Follow us on Facebook, Long Island Loud Majority Facebook page. Over on Twitter, I don't have to tell you guys what to do. You guys are rocking it. Thank you so much for 50K. Really appreciate it. 18,000 on Instagram. Love you guys too.
We got to get my Twitter up a little bit.
Hey, we got to get all the Twitters going.
K_Smith4545.
There you go. So go follow him on Twitter. And in the face of all of our wonderful governors that want people to be their vaccine apostles, in the face of the left who thinks now Star Wars isn't good enough, in the face of this regime that's tanking the dollar, taking away the jobs, flooding the border with illegal immigration, and causing nothing but problems. You cannot be this incompetent. You must be doing it on purpose. In the face of this intentional destruction of the United States of America, we say the 4 words that we will repeat over and over and over again until these people get it. We will not comply. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please go to officialloudmajority.com or loudmajorityus.com. Sign up for the newsletter. We're going to be sending out all the show notes very shortly. Until next week, I'm going to get you the updated stream schedule. Got a couple of work conflicts next week. We'll see what goes on. But until next week and until the next stream, everybody, please stop complying and stay loud.